phone off in the seat. Evidence.
Evidence of what?
Hey, it's a security breach, buddy, okay? I'm not having your seat phone in my car.
Whoa.
In this episode, Auditor Coley visits a Southampton police station to conduct a routine, perfectly lawful audit. But what begins as a calm visit quickly spirals out of control. Within minutes, a sergeant and 2 officers confront him, acting on emotion rather than law, turning a peaceful encounter into one of the most shocking detentions yet. And just when it seems things can't possibly get worse, another officer destroys Coley's camera without any cause. What follows is a legal showdown that not only challenges the department, but also exposes the deep flaws within the policing system itself.
Okay, why are you filming people's cars when they're coming out of there then? Because they're personal cars, aren't they?
Yeah, because they're in public.
Well, they're not in public at the moment.
Who are you?
I'm a police officer.
Alright.
You want to see my ID?
Yeah, I would really expect you to show it to me.
There you go. Detective Sergeant Jamie Wiseman.
DS, yeah.
Okay.
And any detective work to be getting on with, or?
Well, no, I'm due to be
more
going
worried
home now.
about. Alright, then go home then.
No, I'm more worried about you filming people's private cars. Police officers get a bit jumpy about that.
Why?
Why? Because people don't like us.
Okay,
Some
well
people
I'm
have a
not.
vengeance against police officers,
Well,
and you're filming our personal cars when we come out.
But I don't.
That makes me very jumpy.
Why? What are you jumpy about?
When my personal details going out on social media or something like that.
Like you're just assuming that it's going to go on social media. Do you know any of this? Like you're just assuming.
No, I'm asking you.
Because this is what I'm choosing to do with my time today.
Yeah, but why are you doing that? But you're saying you're not interested in people's private
No,
plate.
I'm not.
You're recording when they come out of there.
What can I do with someone's private plate? Only yourselves in the DVLA could pull that info.
I've got no idea.
Okay, well rest assured, I'm not interested.
It makes me feel very uncomfortable.
This sergeant steps outside already on edge, and that's where everything starts to go wrong. Instead of calmly evaluating the situation, he reacts to imagined threats, letting paranoia dictate his policing. He accuses Coley of filming private license plates, as if they're classified information, when in fact, every plate visible on a public road is public by law. The moment he admits, "I don't know, it just makes me feel uncomfortable," he unintentionally reveals the real issue. A mindset driven by emotion instead of evidence, by feelings instead of facts. Coley didn't cause the tension. The sergeant did, by mixing personal insecurity with professional responsibility.
Been filming other police stations at all?
Is it your business?
Yeah, it is. I'm asking you now, yeah. Because if you're going around filming all the police stations, that makes me feel very uneasy.
Right.
And
so what are you trying to do?
To investigate that.
Okay, what do you want to investigate?
Why you are filming Hampshire police stations? Is my conversation not clear? Are you not clear on what I'm saying?
This is a camera, mate. I've given you assurances that I'm not here for any trouble.
Have I explained that? Have you not registered that?
I don't even think you are on edge. There's 3 of you. I've got a camera. Like you guys are armed. Like why would you be on edge? Should I not be the one that's on edge?
When we're coming out in personal vehicles.
Yeah, but what can I possibly do with your personal vehicle?
You tell me.
Then you should maybe consider taking the bus to work or something. I don't really understand.
Why should myself and my colleagues or our way of getting to work?
Because you're so concerned about security arrangements and whatnot. So if it's such a security risk,
I'll tell you why. Because police officers get attacked on and off duty.
Right.
That's what makes me nervous.
Okay.
And they do that because people share our private information and track us down to where we live with our families. That makes me nervous.
This is where the excuses start to become almost comical. When Coley tells the officer, "If you're that worried, take the bus," the officer actually replies, "Why should me and my colleagues go out of our way to get to work?" It's absurd. He's the one claiming there's a security risk, not Coley. You can't park your personal car in a public area, wear a badge of authority, and then complain about being seen. That's not a safety concern. That's plain hypocrisy. Then the sergeant chimes in with yet another weak excuse, insisting that officers are attacked because people post their private information online. But that's not even close to what's happening here, and they know it. Coley isn't exposing personal data or home addresses. He's filming lawfully in a public space.
So has there been any cases of someone filming private plates and then going on to attack
got no
police
idea.
officers? Well, if you don't have any idea, then you can't be making those assumptions. Like.
Well, I can.
Well, no, you just said I have no idea. Like, you're a detective,
I
mate.
work in this industry, in the security industry, and I know police officers have been followed home. I know police officers' vehicles have been targeted.
Okay, well, I'm telling
I
you
know
that I'm not interested in harming any police
Yeah, but I
officer.
don't know that, do I?
All right, well then, what are we gonna? All right, how are we gonna proceed then?
Well, I'd like you to go if possible.
So is that gonna like? What does that achieve? Like, I'm not gonna go.
Well, it makes me feel better. I don't understand why you want to put me on this edge.
You haven't given a good reason for doing it.
I don't need a reason though. What I'm doing is lawful.
Okay, I'm not saying it's not lawful.
Okay, so why would I need a reason?
It's just like my colleague is explaining it.
Do I have to account for my actions in a public place doing something legal? You can find it strange. It's not illegal if it's strange. Like,
Is there anything you need to report to us today?
No.
Is that the reason why you're here?
no,
No? Why are you here then?
to film
Why to film?
because this
you
is what I
achieved
want to do.
filming?
The sergeant isn't even trying to hide that his actions are driven entirely by emotion, not law. When Coley calmly asks, "So how do we move forward?" the sergeant responds, "I'd like you to leave if possible." And when Coley reasonably asks, "What difference would that make?" the sergeant's answer is stunning. "It would make me feel better." That's not law enforcement, that's emotional management. What's worse is how every statement circles back to his own comfort. "It makes me uneasy. It puts me on edge. It would make me feel better." Since when is the public expected to adjust their lawful behavior just to ease an officer's nerves? It's completely upside down. The police are supposed to protect and serve the public, not demand that the public protect their feelings.
It may be other members of the public that see you doing this, and obviously police officers and police staff coming out of here, be on edge. Why does he film me? Okay.
Because we're in public. You guys have got cameras everywhere. Like, you're filming.
And there's
Like,
CCTV all the way around the
of
city,
course there is,
isn't
exactly. So what? I don't know why we've got such a
And obviously today
front
we've got another one.
about
Do you not think
filming.
that the police station could be a security risk?
Is it not a secure building? Like,
That wasn't my question. Do you concede that people may want to target a police station?
no,
You don't concede
because
that?
it's not. I don't think it's a valuable target. I don't know what sort of people you're referring to. I don't think this is a valuable target for terrorists. Has a police station ever been attacked
Yeah, up in
by a
London,
terrorist? Has they?
Yeah, London
Which
police
one?
stations have been attacked quite regularly.
I don't think they have.
Okay.
Name a few.
Well, name one then.
Can't tell you.
So you can't name them, but you're saying that it's happening. Well, which one then?
I can tell you, but I won't.
What?
I can tell you, but I won't.
You can tell me, but you won't.
Yeah.
All right, that's a bit odd. I don't know why.
You're not giving a reason for being here.
When Coley questions the sergeant's so-called security threat and simply asks if a police station has ever actually been attacked, the sergeant confidently replies, "Yes, quite regularly." But that's completely untrue. There have been a few isolated incidents, mostly decades old, or linked to Northern Ireland's past conflicts, yet nothing that even comes close to fitting the word regularly. Official UK terrorism data makes it clear. Attacks on police stations are exceptionally rare. Modern threats focus on public venues, transport systems, and large gatherings, not random police facilities. Then, to make things worse, another officer pipes up with, "I could tell you, but I won't." It sounds less like a professional response and more like a schoolyard taunt. That smug, evasive tone sums up the issue perfectly. They weren't engaging in a genuine dialogue. They were just trying to win the exchange instead of dealing in facts.
It's like a genuine security risk and this genuinely pose a threat, I wouldn't be irresponsible and come and do this. Believe me. And if this was behaviour that I knew that terrorists engaged in,
But it is.
I would have
They
no,
film targets. They
what,
definitely-
overtly
Well, they might
with,
do.
with this little crappy
How do
little
I know
gimbal.
You're not a terrorist. How do I know that? How do I know that?
You don't know that, but you have to go
Exactly
based
right.
on what you do know. There needs to be an objective
Yeah, so
basis.
What I do know is I've got a man who's not willing to give his details stood in front of me who's filming police stations.
Okay,
So that's what I do know. That's the facts.
okay.
Is it not?
So me filming does not implicate me as any sort of like prospective terrorist
But it
or otherwise.
raises my suspicion.
Well, you can be suspicious all you want. Like it's not a crime. You suspecting me of doing something is not a crime. You need to have some sort of reasonable suspicion or objective basis to suspect me as a terrorist.
No, well, at the moment, I think you are filming a police station
Yeah.
with no reason to do that. You are refusing to give your details. I have no idea where that information's going, and I know you have filmed other Hampshire police stations.
This moment perfectly captures how completely the sergeant's reasoning has collapsed. When Coley calmly points out, "If I knew this was considered terrorist behavior, I wouldn't have done it," the sergeant shoots back with, "How do I know you're not a terrorist?" A statement that's as illogical as it is alarming. Policing isn't about guessing people's intentions or acting on paranoia. Coley's reply, "You have to go off what you actually know," is exactly right. Under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act, officers need specific, factual grounds for suspicion, not fear, not imagination. Yet the sergeant keeps pushing, claiming Coley is filming for no reason and refusing to give details, as if either of those things amounts to a crime. But filming in public is lawful, and choosing not to disclose personal information is entirely within one's rights. In the end, the only threat here wasn't from Coley. It was from a mindset that mistakes personal unease for probable cause. It's emotion disguised as counterterrorism, and it shows just how severely undertrained this sergeant truly is.
So these officers are going to search you now in order to see if there is anything that needs to raise that suspicion even further.
So what items, who's conducting the search firstly?
These two are going to conduct the search.
Well, you've just launched with it. So what are these officers going to be searching for?
Anything related to terrorism.
Such as what? That's a bit abstract, isn't it? Any sort of specific items?
Not at the moment.
So you're searching for my ID?
Well, no, and anything relating to terrorism. So if all of a sudden we find ID, and that says, actually, this bloke's okay, there's nothing to worry about.
I am okay. I've told you I'm okay.
Yeah, I know you've told me, but I don't know that. Or it might say he's on a terrorist watch list, and then we've got something to worry about, haven't we? So
you're not going to find my info,
okay,
though.
That's fine, but they're going to search you for that purpose.
This power doesn't. I don't have to provide my information with this power.
No, I'm not asking you to provide anything.
But you just said you're hoping to find ID, this and that. Like.
Yeah, if they find it, we'll look at it.
You know you can be sued in a civil court.
That's absolutely fine. You can go down that route. I haven't got a problem with that.
You sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
This moment perfectly illustrates what happens when authority takes the place of understanding. When Coley calmly says, "I don't believe you have legal grounds," the sergeant responds with, "I think I do." That short sentence reveals a huge problem. He's operating on opinion, not law. Section 43 doesn't give officers power based on what they think might be suspicious. It requires clear, objective justification, reasons that any reasonable observer could identify and agree with. Coley's response, that it's not about what someone thinks, but what can be proven, is spot on. The sergeant's words expose a deep misunderstanding of the weight and responsibility tied to invoking terrorism powers. Detaining someone under such authority isn't casual. It's one of the most serious measures in policing. It demands evidence, precision, and accountability, not gut feelings or guesses.
So the outcome of the search was negative, so why am I still detained? If you've completed the search...
At the moment we're trying to identify who you are.
I know, but you've just detained me for the purposes of a search, not to find out my identity. So now, as I'm further detained, this is becoming more and more unlawful, because now you're detaining me to find out my name. Like, that wasn't the object of the search, was it? You've done the search, it's come back negative. I know, but you're the one that's launched with the power, so I feel like you're the one...
The officer said you were trying to find out your identity.
Yeah, but that wasn't the purpose of the search. Okay, Section 43 doesn't require me to give my details.
Is that what you're saying? Do you want to go?
Yes.
Go on then.
Can I get a copy of the search slip, please?
Yeah, 2 seconds. You've been arrested before.
Don't worry, in due time, you'll find out everything you need to know.
Okay. I'll wait in due time and then I'll know who you are, won't I?
Oh, well, I can't go.
Is he recording cars as they're coming out of there?
Yeah, it is.
Let's take his phone off him and let's seize it. Evidence.
Evidence of what?
Hey, it's a
Evidence of
security
what?
breach, buddy, okay? I'm not having you thrown in my car.
Whoa.
This scene is a textbook example of how police powers should not be used. When Coley asks what exactly they're searching for, the sergeant replies, "Anything to do with terrorism." That vague answer says everything about his lack of legal understanding. Under Section 43, officers must have a specific and reasonable suspicion that someone possesses items directly linked to terrorism. not just a hunch or a broad guess. A phrase like anything to do with terrorism is legally meaningless. It turns a supposed search into a random fishing expedition. The moment an officer can't clearly explain what they're looking for, that search automatically loses its legitimacy. And when Coley calmly reminds him that Section 43 doesn't grant authority to demand ID, the sergeant just shrugs it off, even after being warned about potential legal action. It's clear he knows he's stepping outside the law, yet he carries on, relying on the shield of the badge instead of the strength of the law. The video concludes with a stunning twist. As Coley calmly waits for his search form, an off-duty officer suddenly rushes over, yelling, "Security breach," before snatching his camera and switching it off. Moments later, Coley shares an update, revealing that the police force is now attempting to block him from taking the case any further. It's a shocking end that shows exactly how far some will go to silence accountability and bury their own mistakes.
Now I will talk you through said developments in chronological order as best I can. If you need to pause the video at any point to digest what's going on, then feel free to do so. Naturally, the first step was to file a complaint, which you will now see on the screen. The complaint explained in great detail the events that occurred outside Southampton Police Station and my dismay with the treatment that I had received. Following my complaint, I was quickly emailed by a sergeant prompting me to come to the station to collect my phone. You guys are already aware of that. Following this, the next step was to make a subject access request in order to gain access to the body-worn footage that was compiled on me at the time of the search. I was then contacted by a member of the Public Rights Access team telling me that my request would be processed. Shortly afterwards, I was met with a letter from the Access Rights team restricting my access under provisions of Section 45.4E of the Data Protection Act in order to protect the rights and freedoms of others. This didn't make much sense to me, as the footage was compiled in a public place where privacy is not an expectation. So naturally, I drafted a letter challenging the Access team's refusal to grant me permission to get hold of this footage. So eventually I got a reply on the 18th of November informing me that my letter had been passed on to the Public Access manager and that I was due a response on the 16th of December. Today is the 20th of December and we are still yet to receive any further correspondence from the Public Access team. It seems as though Hampshire Constabulary are making a concentrated effort to withhold any information from me to cover their tracks. This deceitfulness is not instilling any confidence from myself nor the public in Hampshire Constabulary. If anything, it is exposing their lack of transparency and openness in dealing with a blatant case of misconduct. So I'm simply following the letter of the law and using the tools and information given to me as via legislation.
P says, this follow-up makes the entire situation even more frustrating. When Coley attempted to handle things properly by filing a subject access request to obtain the officer's body-worn footage, Hampshire Constabulary slammed the door shut. They cited Section 45.4E of the Data Protection Act, a clause meant to safeguard ongoing investigations or sensitive intelligence, not to conceal public misconduct. The footage in question was captured in a public setting involving uniformed officers on duty, meaning there was no legitimate reason, legal or ethical, to withhold it. It's evident the force isn't protecting an investigation. They're protecting themselves. If Coley were to take this to court, the outcome would almost certainly favor him. The detention, built on weak terrorism grounds and driven more by emotion than evidence, would likely be deemed unlawful. Compensation for false detention and violation of rights could range anywhere from £2,000 to £6,000, potentially more if the court concluded that the footage was deliberately withheld. Courts tend to take a harsh view of police forces that not only abuse their powers, but also attempt to hide the proof. As for now, there have been no further public updates from Coley. He's currently serving time for an unrelated matter. But this case stands as a stark reminder that justice and accountability rarely move in sync. That concludes today's report. If you want these types of videos, Please don't forget to subscribe my channel for more updates and also shares your thought below in comments section. Thanks.